How do you make the lightest, fluffiest gnocchi? Well, I have all the little tips and tricks, my friends. This is my ricotta gnocchi with miso burnt butter sauce. Holy smokes, that is so freaking good. So we're going to be making gnocchi. This is, I think, one of the easiest versions of gnocchi to make. Just a few little tips and tricks here and there, and you guys have got this in the bag. All right, let's get going on the ricotta first of all, because this part is like make or break. It's actually what happens in a supermarket that is make or break for this recipe. So this is the firm style of ricotta that you're looking for. So if you've ever had ricotta gnocchi like break up on you and turn into mush, it's probably because you use the ricotta that comes in the little tubs, which is perfectly fine for some things, but it's too wet. So you want this one, which you probably get from your deli or the deli section of the supermarket, and it's really nice and firm and dry. So we want to start off with this kind of ricotta. It goes into our bowl. And to that you want to add some grated Parmesan cheese, a pinch of salt here, and then we need a binder. And the binder for this is going to be our egg. Now just mix that till everyone's made good friends in there. So this next part, also your kind of next make or break time for your gnocchi, and that is the flour time. So the whole challenge with gnocchi is that you want to add the least amount of flour so that you get the lightest possible gnocchi texture, but you also need to add enough flour so that your gnocchi don't fall apart. So what I like to do is add a little bit less than I think is necessary. So I'm going to put most of this flour in, but not all of it. All right, so get everything in here mixing together, and we'll have a look at the texture once we've got that flour incorporated. So if I have a look here and just grab a piece and just kind of press it around in my fingers, it feels kind of sticky. It's not quite the right texture. It's leaving little bits and bits stuck to my fingers. So definitely want to add in the rest of that flour. And then I'm going to get in here with my hands. Okay, so this is the kind of scenario that we want to get to. It's looking more like a dough. Yes, it is still a little bit sticky, but you can kind of roll it around and sort of tap it into a ball pretty easily. Look, if you've added all the flour in that I've specified for the recipe and it's still not looking like this, just add about a tablespoon at a time and keep mixing, and you will get there in the end. If this is looking good now, I'm just going to flour my bench top and get that out, and we'll start cutting up our gnocchi. A little bit more flour on top. Now it's much easier to cut this into quarters and just do a little bit at a time. Now take yourself one of these hunks, and you want to get a little bit more flour on there and then start rolling out into a kind of thick cigar shape. I like my ricotta gnocchi to be fat and chunky, so that's the way I'm going to cut mine, just with a sharp knife. Just make little cuts. And then pop each of those cute little guys onto a floured tray. And then just keep going till you've used up all your dough. Now my other little trick for you guys is not to cook your gnocchi straight away. They need some time to have a bit of a rest and for that just outside layer of each of those pieces to kind of firm up a little bit. So I'm going to pop these into the fridge for at least 15 minutes, but you know what, day before is really great too. Today we are doing the brown butter kind of adventure because, you know, I just think that butter makes everything better. Of course I have a little Marion twist on this one, but let's get going on the sauce first of all. Fairly conventional to start with, butter of course. And while that butter is foaming, I want to add the miso paste in. And you want to mix that through, and I want to wait for that butter, for the milk solids in that butter to just start to brown. And then when it kind of looks like this, I'm going to turn the heat off and get my gnocchi out and get those cooking before I go any further. So to cook these guys, you want some boiling salted water, but you just kind of want like a friendly medium boil. Anything kind of too hard and fast is gonna, you know, break up your beautiful little gnocchi. So just a little gentle here, and then pop them into the water. Now what you want to do here is wait for your little ricotta puffs to start floating up to the surface. So now that they've started floating, now we can turn our sauce back on. It's all about timing gnocchi, I think, especially with the brown butter sauce. So sauce back on the heat. Now just scoop up all of those little puffs and get them into that sauce. Shake the pan and just make sure that each little gnocchi has a beautiful covering of that brown butter salty goodness. Now what I want to do here for some extra like zip is add a little bit of lime juice. So check that out guys, that beautiful nut brown salty buttery sauce bubbling away. Oh, so good. All right, let's get this out onto a plate. And now to finish off, of course, we need some cheese. Nice smattering of Parmesan. And because I'm me, I need a little sprinkle of chili. And there you go guys, ricotta gnocchi done my way. Not really traditional, but let's just see how I've gone with the flavor. Oh, I'm gonna love this, I can tell already. You know, you can really smell the toasty butter. That's what's really amazing here. Holy smokes, that is so freaking good. I mean, it's just so good, I just can't help but laugh. That gnocchi is so light and fluffy. It literally just disappears like a little cloud. And then you're left with that beautiful brown butter, salty, miso, cheesy kind of flavor. Sometimes I make myself so happy. I'm gonna eat all of this.